Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at criticalblast.com, and it's beginning to look a lot like, well, Christmas, but it's still Thanksgiving coming. But if you're tuned into the Hallmark Channel, you would never know. It is Christmas wall to wall in this house, and I should probably be getting my Santa suit out and start doing some live streams in that pretty soon. Really would have been a good idea to probably do it tonight, but you know, thinking ahead is like my second strongest suit. Especially this past couple of weeks here, we've had a few setbacks in the old studio. Some of you are aware of those. But tonight we are going to be talking with Ryan Haack and his Christmas Indiegogo, Bric-a-Brack #2, A Fantasy Christmas Story. Ryan, how are you doing this evening?
Excellent. Thanks for having me on again.
Glad to do it. Glad to do it. So this is second shot for Bric-a-Brack. We launched on Indiegogo before, didn't quite make the goal, coming back with a vengeance, and looks like you're doing things you're coming out much stronger out of the gate this time.
Yes, absolutely. I've never had a campaign this with this much enthusiasm around on the back of it. So I'm really happy that people want it to come alive. You know, I'm really excited that people are still into it after so many tries. Sometimes you get scared that people might just don't want to hear about it anymore. You know, especially after you fail. But I think there is buyer's remorse, and I think there are people who, if they see you fight for something for so long, and honestly, it's not even just people who back comic books, it's people who are your friends on Facebook who have seen you through all the campaigns trying so hard, and those are the people really it's the people who you don't notice are watching that actually contribute. And so that's what I've noticed too here, is that people who I didn't notice were watching the entire time have the Christmas spirit too. So it's great. It's a great thing.
Yeah, one of the benefits, though, is that, you know, more time has passed, more people become aware of the book than other campaigns, and you probably got some more artwork done on it that can be showcased on the page.
Absolutely.
And speaking of that page, let me just go ahead and bring it up here. $2,530 out of $5,200. You're 48%. It's only 4 days old. This is definitely on track to make it a success. In fact, we've already got people in the chat saying that it will be a success. Thank you, Frog.
Yes. Yeah, Frog has absolutely fought for me with this. Honestly, I mean, if it weren't for some of the backers, I don't know if I would have come back with the fourth one. But I just feel with a fourth try on this campaign. But I love the story, and a lot of people are really passionate about it. And so I can't stop. You know, I have to get it out. I can't wait another Christmas with it out, with it not in people's minds and, you know, hands.
Sure. Well, and the art style on this is so unique. This is, you know, Rankin Bass is known for all the Christmas specials they did.
Yes.
More known for their stop motion, but they actually did do standard animation, and this is well in line with their standard animation stuff that they did.
Oh yeah, this is definitely inspired by Rankin and Bass. I mean, from the story to the characters. And Raphael has that look. You're right. I think it kind of reminds me of the Frosty the Snowman was an animation, and then Frosty Returns, and then also Frosty's Winter Wonderland, which might be my favorite of their animation because it's so different. But yeah, Rankin Bass there is all over this, because if you think about it, Rankin Bass really is the first connective cinematic universe, because the characters. Jack Frost is the same design throughout the entire thing, from the animated versions to the puppet version. Santa looks the same actors, same everything. It is really, and Rudolph, although, you know, at the end of Rudolph, the first one, he turns into a buck, or he's older. They change into younger for the subsequent movies. There's still, I mean, there's weird continuity things, but it's a cinematic universe. And so, I love all of those movies.
And some of the they actually cross over and meet each other in some places. I mean, I know there was Rudolph and Frosty.
Yeah, Rudolph and Frosty's Winter Wonderland. Yeah, and then Jack Frost. I think he meets Frosty, but Jack Frost also has his own movie. So
Yes.
it's like there's a lot of things like that, and then Jesus is involved too. It's just the Rankin Bass stuff is awesome. I wish they would continue that, honestly, if they could, because I think even the weird ones like the Little Drummer Boy or Rudolph Shiny Night New Year, just they're so fun. And the ones that aren't even to do with Christmas, like Peter Cottontail, it
Yes.
still has Santa in it. It still has everybody in it. So it's just like I love that stuff.
That's right. Peter Cottontail, he was trying all year long to deliver that egg, and Vincent Price kept him from, old Irontail kept him from making it a success.
Exactly.
The Irontail, and now it's delivered.
Right, exactly.
That was a perfect twist ending for that.
Yeah, those are great movies. So definitely those inspired this one because I grew up watching them, of course, and I think they're just great. The tone, the all ages aspect to them, the music, they're just great. They're just escape, like pure all ages escapism, I think.
All right. Well, you got a video on this, and since you've gone to the trouble of making one, we're going to go ahead and play it.
Sure, certainly.
See what we can do here with that. Takes a little bit of effort.
The Nutcracker's War has left the inhabitants of Planet Christmas hopeless and desperate for heroes. Dozens of provinces and villages have been taken over by General Almond and his evil soldiers who aim to rule the planet and capture all the Christmas spirit that's left. But out of nowhere, a new hope has arisen. Our young hero Garrett is on a quest to find Father Christmas, who he believes is the only man that might have the power to dismantle the war completely. Garrett, and a leader of the small but mighty Christmasville militia, could be the only chance the planet has at returning to its jolly old self. But several questions remain. Where's Father Christmas, and why has he not stopped the war already? Who is Jack Frost, and what dark partnership did he have with General Almond? And what evil lurks behind the drawbridge of Castle Wenceslas? Raphael Sam will once again be the interior artist of this second issue. I, Ryan Haack, will continue to write the story, and Tom Barton, our great cover artist, will draft the 5-page backup story, The Tragedy of Jack Frost, as well as drawing the variant and main cover of the second issue. Bric-a-Brack is back and better than ever. Please help us make this a reality.
All right. I love the vibrant colors on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Christmas green all over the place. So I have questions.
Yes.
And I know we've talked before, but I have questions. Is this General Almond right here?
No, that is Good King Wenceslas, who is another anti-villain, or hero, rather. He is not necessarily a villain, but he is kind of in between, because he does eventually turn out kind of a good guy, but he has some things he's working for. Obviously Planet Christmas wouldn't be, you have to talk about religion too on a planet that is about Christmas, because it wouldn't make sense not to. And so he brings in this religious element to the story. Not a lot of the other characters, do that, but Good King Wenceslas, it's almost, he is kind of like King Arthur and his King Arthur's court. So I was inspired by, I wanted to bring him in because I read the great story, which you might be familiar with, the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And so I was just like, I would like to have like a kind of, and it takes place on Christmas. And so it's the same thing. So it's just kind of like he has his own court and he has a goal that he's trying to achieve. And he thinks that Garrett is a part of that, our main character, but we'll see how that kind of turns out for him.
Well, I was just wondering because, he's wearing this dark armor and Garrett is a new hope. And I'm just like, are we going to get to the end here? And he's going to say, no, Garrett, I am father.
No, there's nothing like that. There's no, maybe in the subsequent, I was thinking, maybe if we do another Bric-a-Brack, we might explore his family. But for right now, his family, he it's kind of like in the Grinch, the movie, where the babies kind of just drop from the ground or from the sky. And they kind of just, we don't really have an explanation to who his parents are yet. Maybe possibly. But I kind of like to keep it ambiguous because I think I want Garrett to be a character where you can see yourself in him, and as someone who likes Christmas and who's growing, who has to, be faced with the fact that Santa Claus isn't real or all these different things, and Christmas can't always be the greatest. And so, yeah, he's just a really great protagonist because his perception of Christmas is different than the one he's going to be faced with when he is, forced to see the war on planet Christmas. He had no idea that there was going to be a war at all. And it just, he's forced to face that fact.
So this is some of the newer art now that we didn't have last time.
Yeah.
And I don't know who these characters might be. There's a guy sleeping there who looks like he could be the Grim Reaper, could be. Well, yeah, he's got a scythe. Okay, that bag is. Okay.
Yes.
He's not somebody to mess with. And Chicken Boy, who's
right
there. Tell us a little bit about these characters and what they mean to the.
Yes. So this is the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future. Okay, so the Ghost of Christmas Past is dancing in the back, so she's kind of from the past, the 80s, or she's just kind of like, she looks kind of retro. And then the Ghost of Christmas Future is kind of the Grim Reaper character, so we kind of kept him very, as in all his other interpretations. The Ghost of Christmas Future is kind of like that, but the Ghost of Christmas Present is a guy who's actually the narrator. He's in the chicken suit, and he is a narrator. And he is a pretty interesting guy. He's been narrating the entire story since the beginning. And so that will be revealed to us. And they have their own little agenda. Actually, Good King Wenceslas is imprisoning them because he wants their knowledge of the past, present, and future to find what he wants to find. So he's imprisoned them. And so we will encounter them.
That's a very good twist. I like that idea. So this is truly every element of Christmas literature being thrown into one.
Right, exactly.
One pie.
Yes.
Now you did tell me who the snowman was last time, but I have since forgotten.
Yes, so that's Jack Frost. So he's kind of looks like a Gollum character who, he is another new character who's a big highlight in this story, in this specific issue, because he's a tragic character. He is looking for redemption, and he is fighting General Almond because they have a past together. That basically they started the war, and Jack Frost feels remorse for that because he didn't mean to. He did it on accident. And General Almond, he obviously did it on purpose because he's always wanted to take over Planet Christmas, and an outsider from another planet gave them the opportunity, and he took it, right? But Jack Frost didn't realize that this was going to happen. And so he's a very tragic character who, he gets a bad rap, and so he is kind of a Gollum-like creature who he will get his redemption. But you'll get to learn more about this character in our backup story, The Tragedy of Jack Frost, which focuses on his entire involvement and really the origin of the war, which people have been wanting to know about. With issue 1, we literally dropped right into the middle of the war, where the Nutcrackers had already taken over a lot of provinces and villages already. But with this backup story, we'll get to see what we didn't see beforehand. And so it's going to be really good to understand who these characters are and how they came to be.
All right. Now, in the video, Jack Frost didn't look like this at all.
No.
He was,
if you go down, if you scroll down a couple of... Yes. And then if you scroll down one more time, you'll see this transformation that happens of Jack Frost. So this is a page that's in progress. And so, so this is kind of in the backstory. We see that he transforms into this Gollum-like creature out of sadness. Basically, he kind of like cries himself for reasons we'll figure out. He kind of just becomes this Gollum-like creature and exiles himself because of this damage that he's done, the war that he's caused and allowed to happen. That's killed all his friends and done a lot of horrible things to the planet that he didn't intend. He kind of exiles himself and becomes this golem-like creature. And so this is, again, some more of the backup story. And yeah.
So this is also the backup story here because there's the younger Jack Frost. We got Father Christmas not in hiding.
Yes.
They're all happy around the table. Everyone's happy. There's mac and cheese.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's an alien visitor who's at the end of the table with the kind of crest around his head. That's our alien visitor who is really the main puppeteer of the story here. He's kind of manipulated a lot of the characters to do things for him and essentially start the war because he wants a resource on Planet Christmas to power something that power a super weapon. And so the story definitely gets more complicated in this issue, I think, because with issue 1, it was very much a direct story where one character has a goal, but now issue 2 is more focused on the characters. And I would say also it just complicates the plot. And I think I love issue 2 a lot. And I think it's a much better issue than issue 1 because there's conflict constantly with these characters and their different goals, which you would have in a war of resources. So, yeah, it's a kid's book, but it does have some interesting themes like that.
Yeah, well, kids' books should have, you go back to the older kids' books, they all had complex life and death themes in them.
Right,
and
right.
Just fine. they
yes.
We're here.
Yeah, and I think Pixar does hit that too. I mean, I think that, I don't know about the Disney-made movies, but I think Pixar movies really do hit that happy medium of giving kids an understanding of death. Like they know they understand death. They know they understand sickness and sadness. And I just think that Pixar movies are so brilliant because they hit this happy medium and they give the kids a lot of credit. Like, I think that's what you should do. You shouldn't dumb it down for children. And also, I think that, I think that's it's difficult to do that. There's some masters who, Dr. Seuss, I think, is a great example of someone who, he writes just so well that it's not just for kids. Adults can read it. And so I just think that it's a hard medium to hit, but I think I'm trying to make sure that we can complicate things with the plot, not just have silly random occurrences and events happen. It's a war on Planet Christmas. There's a lot of depth, and Garrett is a character who is really a pacifist who has this idea of what Planet Christmas is going to be because he's only lived on one island for his entire life, now suddenly thrown into this frying pan of a war going on, and it's totally different than what he thought. And so I think that's really a metaphor for what we think about when we're into Christmas as a child, and then what happens when we get older. Suddenly, things aren't as obviously the idea of Santa Claus being real isn't as clear anymore, and then it obviously becomes, you find out it's not real, and then a lot of things change. You realize people have different religions than you. They don't celebrate Christmas the way you do, and so there's all these different things that happen when you grow up. And Garrett is that metaphor, at least in my eyes, of me growing up and seeing what Christmas is to society. Some people hate Christmas. Some people, it's like, I can't wrap my head around that, but it's true. And people don't celebrate it. And so that's the idea.
Yeah. And Christmas is also, the holidays, they say, is a time when a lot of people get majorly depressed.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of leaving that childhood shell of like, Santa's real and all this stuff, and actually going out and seeing what Planet Christmas is all about. I mean, sure, there's great encounters like the one right here. Obviously, it's really happy and stuff, but there's people who hate Christmas on Planet Christmas who we'll encounter in the next issue. There's people like the Nutcrackers who want to take all your Christmas spirit and use it to take over the planet because they've always wanted to, and you thought they were your friends, but they're not. And so it's just things get complicated when you get older, of course.
Now, this is a village here we're seeing on Planet Christmas. It's got the multicolored penguins that are, happy feeding it around the ice rink.
Yes.
And Garrett's walking with one of our other protagonists. Now, tell us about her.
Marie. So, Garrett is a 10-year-old kid, but Marie is 30 years old, and she is the leader of a Christmas militia that is trying to take down. It's basically the only line that basically all of the good people of Planet Christmas have, really. This militia that's at Christmasville, this city right here. And it's really their only line against the Nutcrackers. It's the only thing they have, because the Nutcrackers basically were their security. Father Christmas is the greatest warrior ever on Planet Christmas, but now all the Christmas spirit is gone, he's powerless. So who is to fight for them? They have to fight for themselves. And so basically Marie is the leader of this team, and she follows Garrett for a secret purpose she has. But I mean, she loves Garrett, and she really she thinks he's great and his ambition is great, but she's really kind of using him to find Father Christmas for her own purposes. He's the best warrior ever, and if they had him on their team, they would really win probably against the Nutcrackers. And children can find Father Christmas if they have enough Christmas spirit in them. You can find Father Christmas. And so Garrett, being one of the only kids really left on Planet Christmas who still has that Christmas spirit left in him, he's going out to find him, And so that's the idea is, Garrett is really the light that she can use to find him. And they butt heads constantly in this issue. And that's where a lot of the cool conflict is. And you got a little taste of it in the first book, but really in this one, there's some butting head moments, and it's really cool to see, because Marie and Garrett really just goes out on his own. I mean, he has one goal, and it's nice to have an older woman fight when an enemy appears, but Garrett's gonna figure it out on his own if he has to.
Now, I like the idea of Father Christmas being a warrior and
right.
a fighter. One of the coolest Santas I ever saw was probably in Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah.
Because he was badass.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, the Rise of the Guardians. And I think Alec Baldwin played him. That was great. That was awesome. Yeah, he's the greatest warrior on all of Planet Christmas. He's defeated a lot of the monsters that have come to try to attack. And, Garrett doesn't know about this. Garrett just thinks he is Father Christmas normally, a kind person. And Garrett, again, is kind of a pacifist. So when he learns that happened, he's upset that Father Christmas is this great warrior, because he doesn't want it to be. It kind of tarnishes his idea of what Christmas was to begin with. And so, again, Garrett has to go through this trial of realizing that not everything that he thought is the truth. And it's hard to take that to heart. But, obviously it's a children's story, and it's going to all end up great. But, it is difficult for him to swallow, just like it is for any kid who has to grow up during, and realize Santa Claus isn't real.
But he's growing up to find out that Santa Claus is real. So his reality was the opposite before that. He didn't think Father Christmas existed, or
no, he did. But I mean, it's kind of a metaphor. So like Father Christmas exists, and he knew that from the very beginning. But his idea of what Father Christmas is changes. He had no idea that Father Christmas was a warrior. Who took on monsters. He didn't even know monsters existed in this planet, because he was on an island alone. I mean, he was on an island isolated with the sugar plum fairies and the other children who didn't know any of this. And so he's setting out to find out that, Father Christmas isn't exactly the man that he thought he was. That's really what I mean.
I gotcha. So we got a populated Christmasville here of all kinds of characters. We got the little blue elf. In the middle of we got snowman, we got gingerbread people.
Yes.
Where did you come up with the idea for a snow spider?
A snow spider, again, we're kind of with this story, we just want to make a lot of fantasy characters. And I mean, there's a dragon, all kinds of fantasy characters exist in this universe, because it is, I've never seen a Christmas planet that's like, it has dragons in it, or it has like kind of like a mythology of different monsters or stuff like that. And I wanted to do that. And, I was just like, I'm terrified of spiders. I think they're very scary, but I want to make it look cute. How do you make spiders look kind of cute. And I told this to Raphael, and he kind of came up with this great idea of this salesman who sells, eggnog to people, and in Christmasville. And so yeah, it's just kind of a fun idea, just to kind of flesh out the inhabitants of the world and kind of just give it more life. I think that's what these kind of characters do, and Raphael is excellent at getting that idea across.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. I focused right there on the spider, and only now did I just see the dragon when you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the page.
Right.
And he's just another denizen.
Right, exactly. And it's not like there's a great mythology. I mean, yes, when we go see the layer of the Nutcrackers, the dragons do live there. I mean, that's where they're from because it's on the other side of the planet. But yeah, it's just, having fantasy creatures. I've never seen that in a Christmas story before. Even with the Rake and Bass stuff, which, I mean, there were some fantastic elements of that movie. There's no doubt. Like, whether it be the Winter Warlock or these kind of characters who have these magnificent powers or, that kind of stuff. But with this, I wanted to really make it like, just to have these very strange creatures in it that, go about life just like they're a normal citizen. So
now, I will say there is one book that I dare say you may not have read.
That's possible.
That has Santa Claus and all kinds of fantasy creatures in it. Look at that! I had a stink bug on me. I hate these things. One got in my basement. They're usually in the toilet, and I flush them. But Santa Claus is actually a in-canon resident of Oz.
Oh, wow.
Frank Baum wrote The Life and Times of Santa Claus, and while he didn't have him cross over with any of the Oz characters, he did say where he was born, and it is one of the countries that is in the land of Oz, which if you say, oh, he's born in, I forget which one it was, whether it was Winky Country or what, but it was one of them. And I was like, well, if he's born there, then he's an Ozian. So you could technically use any of the Oz characters, and it would fit because his mythology crosses over into that.
I have to look into this book, so The Life and Times of Santa Claus.
By L. Frank Baum.
Okay.
It's the same guy who wrote The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, so it'll make it easier to find.
And it's a book. It's a book, or is it kind of like a small book?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it. It's not a small book at all, but it is wonderfully illustrated.
I have to look this up now. This is awesome. I had no idea. I mean, I heard that the connection. Someone was telling me there's the Santa Claus. He has a connection to Odin and this kind of thing. But
sure. There is that. Yeah, here's one right here, and I'm just going to drag it over to the.
Okay, I got to get that. I have to get this.
The Life and Times by L. Frank Baum. You can get it hardcover for $12.99, and it is it's 160 pages. It's not a tiny book.
Definitely not. Awesome. I gotta check this out. Yeah, that
you'll
sounds
like
really cool. Yeah, I think just the idea of Santa Claus is just it's just an undying idea. I think it's even more than Batman and Superman. I think that it's just the idea of that giving is always going to fascinate children. I feel like I think it will always resonate with them. It's so magical, the idea of it. And even if it's not true, I think that people who really are into the idea of giving and what Christmas is about understand what, you can become Santa Claus. Yes. That idea that I think Santa Claus is real. If you really accept the idea that you can become Santa Claus, you're being Santa Claus instead of like, oh, it's a real person. And so I think that, that's just my little rant on Santa Claus, but there's a lot of great Santa Claus stories and a lot of great versions of him.
I tell the story all the time, and I'm 53 years old, and it will never leave my head. And I will continue to believe it. But I was laying in bed late at night. It turned out to be early one morning. It was Christmas Eve night, and I heard I heard the front door shut. I lived in a small house with no fireplace. It was like, no highway in the town. It was nowhere. And the way the house was, my father built the house, and he built the add-on to it. So my parents' bedroom, the only way into their bedroom was through mine, because they built it onto the back of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you go out in my bedroom, and there's a little tiny hallway that branched off into the living room and the kitchen. It was a cracker box. I heard that front door shut, and I heard like horse hooves. We had a lot of horses in town and mules that would pull wagons, clomping down the street. And I laid there frozen with my eyes wide open, because I'm like, okay, Dad was in the front room. He's going to come back in here. I better not let him see me. No. They came out of their room an hour later, and I said, somebody was in the house.
Wow.
And I will never not believe that I dreamed that or anything else. It was like, no, it was Christmas Eve. Somebody was in the house and closed the door. Nothing was taken. But I'm sure that there was something under the tree that they thought they gave me.
That's awesome. Okay, you know what? I've heard another Santa Claus believer story like that, like an actual Santa Claus believer story like that before. It's usually just like, oh, my parents said they weren't going to get me something, and then it was there, But that is some real evidence there. That's some real evidence, I think.
And then they both think the other one did it.
Right.
All right, so let's look at the bundles here, because we haven't even talked about selling this book. We just talked about what it's about.
Right.
You've got your Bric-a-Brack physical bundle for $24.
Yes.
31% off. This is the featured tier here. And with this, you get 1 and 2 in digital and 1 and 2 in physical, and a bookmark and a Jack Frost print. Now, is the Frost print that picture we've seen below?
Yes, it is. It's the cub. Yeah, it's the main Indiegogo picture and all that stuff. Yeah. Right. That one. Yes. It will be that. Yep.
That is excellent. That's a very cool picture.
Yeah, I love it. Again, it's kind of like selling the Gollum. I think we were kind of going for like The Thing and King Kong, and kind of, it's just that idea of like, I love those big bulking characters it's really cool. Yeah, he's just a total brute. And as you will see in the awesome fight, the 1v1 against him, and arguably the second most powerful character in the Bric-a-Brack universe, General Almond. I
didn't even notice. Now that you told me who these characters were, I see that Garrett's fleeing with them. So obviously he's released them from Good King
the prison. Yes, exactly.
And they're taking them down. Very cool. And he gets a flying car. No, he doesn't get a flying car, but the spirit of Christmas present, past, and future become a flying car.
Exactly. That's the idea.
And away he goes. And you just look, that unbridled joy on his face as he's like, I'm getting away with it.
Yes.
All right, so this is really the bundle to get. For $24, you get everything. You're getting both books, you're getting the bookmark, and you're getting a print.
And it's a $5 shipping for US, of course. So yeah, the ship. I think another reason why I might have failed some of the other campaigns was because the shipping was just too high. I think I'm a part of Media Mail now, and that kind of, and I have my own printer, so I've been able to get the prices lower and lower and lower. And so, I'm confident that this will be better. It is better because I think asking for $8 or $10 for a 25-page book is just not really.
Everybody learned this early on.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be like $15 shipping, unless you go international, in which case all bets are off.
Oh yeah, either way, the international is gonna be hard. That's why I offer digital perks, because I don't want people to feel like I need to do this. It's tough. First off, it's hard on me because ultimately my shipping is not going to be accurate to what your country, what your country, it's going to cost to ship to a different country. And so that's why I offer digital perks, is because I think people, they don't want to put me through that, and they certainly don't want to pay more. So
does Indiegogo have a shipping calculator? I mean, I've not ever had to use it, but
I'm not certain. I don't think so. I think Kickstarter has something like that, but I think ultimately it's pretty much up to you. I mean, again, I'm really lucky because I did have an issue. I mean, the second issue is going to be the exact same size as the first one. ultimately. And so it's just it's nice to have this one because I understand how much it weighs, how much what security, how it's going to be secure in the package and that kind of thing.
Exactly. All right, so if you don't want to get 1 and 2, assuming you've already got 1, you're going to look for another deal. You could get just Bric-a-Brack 2 digital, which apparently I've done. That's not the one I would get. So I'm going to have to go back here. I was just trying to get it to expand the
No, yeah, I understand.
Down. Come on, load back up. Okay. You can get Bric-a-Brack 2 digital. There was no need for me to click on it. For $8. Or you can get number 2 physical for $12. Get the physical book.
Yeah, and you get again, with every single physical, you get the print and the bookmark. Last time we didn't offer that cool deal, so you will be getting those 2 cool things with every single physical thing. Every single physical thing.
That is cool. So now the print, that looks like it's more of a kind of a squarish print.
So here, let me show you. This is last year's print. So this is the Father Christmas image you might be familiar with on the last campaign. It's going to be basically the same exact size. And then I have a bookmark around here somewhere. And this is going to be, it's going to be different. It's going to have the main cover. So Garrett and Marie fighting on this one. And then this is going to be the Jack Frost one. So, yeah.
Excellent sizes. Get the physical because, well, if you're going to get a print and a bookmark, yeah, go ahead and get the physical. There's no reason not to get both of them unless you back the first one. You back the first one.
But again, the first one will have a variant cover. There's no way to get this version of this book with the Nutcracker on it unless you signed up for the email list. I think there's about 80 people on the email list who are going to be able to be eligible to win. There's going to be 2 winners of the original first printing, but the second printing have Father Christmas on it. So,
okay, so that's cover number 1 this time around, the second printing one.
Yeah, so it's a variant cover basically for the second printing.
No,
just to kind of
get the feature, Kirk. It's $29 with the shipping on it, so just do that. Of course, you can donate to the Boys and Girls Club. Now, this is cool. Tell us about this. What happens here?
Yeah, so you can donate to the Boys and Girls Club of the chapter of your choice, and I will send it to them, and send 2 copies of each book. So 2 of the first one, 2 of the second, and I just think it's a kind of a cool thing. Again, we're embracing the Christmas feels. And, it only makes sense for us to kind of just do that. So I think I would love to have a kid read it. And the Boys and Girls Clubs accepts those kind of donations. Unfortunately, with the St. Jude's and the Children's Hospitals, it's a little more difficult. You'd think Toys for Tots might accept that too. But I would think Toys for Tots, it's like a very Christmas-themed thing. But, they kind of want to buy the toys instead of that. So anyway, the Boys and Girls Club accepts those kind of things. And so hopefully, I know there's some COVID restrictions. Hopefully we'll be able to get them to the chapters. If not, I live in New York, so there's a lot of places I can give them to, whether it be, there's a lot of places. But I just thought that this donating 2 of them would be super cool. 4 books, actually.
Put some comic book in kids' hands for Christmas.
Yeah.
Get a nice little $45 tax deduction 5 days before the end of the year, just into the wire. So save your Indiegogo receipt because it'll be to the they're tax deductible donations to the Boys and Girls Clubs. Then you've also got the back bundle.
So if people just want 2 and they don't want to donate them, they can just take this one. Hasn't gotten a lot of people to. I mean, maybe if you want to give it to your aunt or something and just pay 1 shipping price, this is the deal to go with.
Absolutely. Don't donate to mine.
They're mine.
Now this is interesting. Create a Christmas character. $75 offer here.
Yes.
Talk about the Spider Snowman.
Yes, that was my creation. But let me show you. Okay, these were also my creation. But these 2. Let's see here. This lion and these 2 characters. But let me show you some characters that people actually did create last time around. So, for example, we are in Father Christmas's reindeer stalls here, and we have the this was a character that a young girl of the daughter of a young the young daughter of a backer, created. So it's like a little unicorn with two peppermint sticks for wings, which is pretty cool, I think. And there's one more page where there's a bunch of them. But it being a war book, there's a lot of opportunities to have a lot of new characters. So I think that penguin was one, and then there's a cat you can see with a beard and some stuff like that. There's like one more thing. There's one more here. There's another character someone created, and then there's a dog. Someone wanted me to put their dog in it. So I thought that was just really cool. And again, it's a crowdfunded. I was telling you earlier, old stories are stories 1,000 years ago were participative. And that's where people get mad at Star Wars because they can't participate. They can't participate in what the next episode of The Mandalorian will be. It doesn't matter. Disney doesn't care if they're upset or happy with it. But back 1,000 years ago, people could add their own changes to what the Iliad was. They didn't have to say this specific thing happened. They could, when they were talking about the story around a campfire, they just went along with what they heard from their relative. And so, I think that's the better way of telling stories, honestly. And so I want people to be able to participate in this. I think crowdfunding gives you that opportunity. Backers who bring a story to life should be able to do that. So that was my idea.
And these characters would appear in issue number 2. They wouldn't be like, okay, they'll be in issue number 3.
No, they'll be in issue number 2. Yep, they will be in issue number 2. Again, there's a lot of opportunities for that kind of stuff, especially it being a war book. There's just a lot of different sides. And again, it's a fantasy world, so anything goes.
Right, $85 is Tchaikovsky's Revenge 2.
Yes, so this gives people a lot of the perks, and then a sketch from Raphael. So people have kind of grabbed that one because they're really, really cool sketch cards that he has drawn, and so they're going to be kind of like those of a Bric-a-Brack character. So I would want one. I was jealous of having to send them away, so I was like, I should bring this back because hopefully he'll make an extra one and I can keep it or something. I don't know.
So we saw the different characters in Christmasville, the snowman and the gingerbread characters. What is Marie? She looks like a gummy bear.
Yeah, so she's a gingerbread and a marshmallow combined. I've never seen anything like that before. And she just looks like a character I've never seen before in my life. I've never seen a gingerbread kind of look like that before. So, again, and that was really Raphael who kind of came up with that idea of like, she won't just be a normal gingerbread woman. She has to be, she's a leader of a military unit. She is like normal gingerbread, you'd think they couldn't really move that much. So her being a marshmallow and gingerbread, it's like, she's a very capable leader.
Daddy was gingerbread, mommy was marshmallow.
Exactly. And it just happens.
They made her, and then they made, wait for it, some more.
Right. That's awesome.
No, that's bad.
Gingerbread s'mores. That sounds great.
So this is very cool. Get your sketch card. That's the $85 one when you get both physicals. And finally, the last big one here is Become an Elf.
Yes. So this was basically created for one person, but if you want your likeness to be on an elf, this is your perk. I mean, Raphael put my likeness on one of the characters early on. Let me try to see here. It's like my likeness of when I was a child. So it's not like, but it's kind of accurate. It was like this one. So maybe a little bit like that. And then here's him again. Right here. But
mentioned by name.
I at this, no, it's not the same name. At this moment, I kind of forget his name. But he does come back in issue 2 because again, the Nutcrackers have kidnapped all of Garrett's friends, and that's another one of his motivations to find Father Christmas. Because not only will Father Christmas be able to release his friends from the Nutcrackers' clutches, because they have Christmas spirit in them, so they can find Father Christmas too, which they successfully did in issue 1 already. They found the North Pole with the help of the children, which is why Father Christmas's brother, General Tchaikovsky, is there So that's Tchaikovsky, what the perk is named after, Tchaikovsky's Revenge. But anyway, so it's just that idea. He'll be back. But anyway, people can have their likenesses.
But I mean, if they had their likeness on an elf, will the elf be like, if my likeness was on an elf in there, would he say something and someone would say, "Oh, shut up, RJ," so that
well, maybe we could probably work it out, because there's a scene in issue 2 where we have a lot of elves who Father Christmas is gone into hiding. He doesn't want anyone to find him. And so the elves have kind of congregated in this poinsettia forest, and they're hiding too, because they're kind of powerless without Father Christmas. And so all of them are there. So it's a big opportunity to have likenesses and stuff like that, because you don't just want to have all these blue elves just walking around. It just kind of like, it's cool to give personality. So maybe we could do that. That could definitely happen.
Well, it looks like the most popular bundle you've got is this featured bundle for the Bric-a-Brack physical bundle, where you get number 1, number 2, physical and digital, the bookmark, and the print. I mean, that's everything if you don't get into, having yourself drawn in or you're not donating it. $24 plus $5 shipping. It's under $30 for 2 comic books, a print and a bookmark. So that's, as far as crowdfunding goes, that's a very reasonable deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to keep it more reasonable on because I mean, I just think that it's again 25-page book, so it's not in like huge, about 30-page book including the extras, but it's not huge, So I don't think that I should give ask people $10 for shipping, or $15 or $20 for the book. Now the hardcover, or maybe the paperback. Hopefully by next year we'll have a paperback option, which would be amazing. Then it'll be different. But right now we just kind of have the floppies, which is cool because floppies, you get the opportunity to have variant covers and cool stuff like that on them. So I'm all for making floppies again for issue 3.
Now, this is a 3-issue arc or a 6-issue arc?
3 issues. Yep. The third one's going to be a little bit more oversized. It might have 40 pages in it, but it's a 3-issue series.
And then you'll be able to do the when you do 3, then you don't have to worry about selling 1 and 2 together, because if you want 1 and 2, get the trade paperback.
Exactly. Yeah. Or if you want all the covers, then you can. But you're right. It would be a lot less of a headache, and because and sending all those books back to printing, it's like, oh my God, like, do we have to do this again? So it would be nice to just have a trade paperback option and then an issue 3 option. Yep. Very simple.
There's going to be people who want the floppies. So,
and then maybe we could have variant covers. Like, I want to get, I know it's a pipe dream, but I want to get like Sean Galloway or someone to do a variant cover sometime. So maybe I could have a really cool exclusive variant cover from an artist I really admire, or think they could like do an awesome cover for this series, because it just would totally work with his style, and that kind of thing.
Ryan, here's what you do. And again, people who watch my show know that this is what I do. I come up with all these big ideas, big brain ideas that I don't have to invest in. That's everybody else's problem. So
yes,
when issue 3 is out, you release issue 1 with a variant cover for the 3rd printing, issue 2 with a variant cover for the 2nd printing, and issue 3 with its new cover for that printing, and they go together. They're a triptych puzzle piece. It's one big wide picture that they all 3 go together and form a picture.
So like X-Men #1, but
exactly like that.
That would be absolutely awesome. Yeah, that you're right, because I was thinking it could kind of be. There's a great Jim Lee cover. Speaking of, it's for Superman Unchained. That it's like it has the Superman on the front, then it has some Lex Luthor, Lois Lane thing, and then it has the other villain. I was thinking of something like that, so that's a great idea. Kind of like go for an X-Men #1, something cool like that. Yeah.
You could even, if you like X-Men #1, you could even have the artist say, "Hey, look at these pictures for X-Men #1." Now, X-Men #1 was 5, so that it might have even been more than 5. It might have been 6. I forget how many times that thing unwrapped on the big one. But he could have all the characters, like he could have Jack Frost on #1, Father Christmas on #2, and Garrett leading the charge on #3. All as one big
yes,
in the X-Men pose that they were doing in that.
That would be cool.
So
well, actually, this issue, this image, I don't think I have an image of it on the campaign, but I will show you the main cover for this issue is actually inspired by Jim Lee. This main cover here is inspired by
almost hard to see there, but
it used to be the main campaign ish. Do you see this?
I think we're
the
just
two fighting. The two fighting, which is going to be the main cover of the issue. It's actually inspired by a Jim Lee, this Jim Lee cover. So it is kind of like a variant. This is from Infinite Crisis,
Okay.
and you can see like Batman fighting off against these Doomsday clones. If you saw the movie, I forget what the movie's called, but it's like that Michael Turner arc where they're at Themyscira and Batman and Superman are fighting against the Doomsday clones. So that thing. So anyway, that was what the cover was inspired by for issue 2.
I need to stop us here, not to stop the video, although we're coming up on the close. But it is it's time to shake and bake.
It's shake and bake. It's shake and bake. Now help.
Because your number is Ryan.
Yes. Thank you, BAP, too. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Flipped right in here, and you've gone from 48% to 49%. Just a hair from being halfway to the goal with 26 days left to go.
We're so close.
It's an irresistible book. So it's.
Yeah, I think it is too. I would buy it. I would buy it, yeah. Because again, the art is awesome, and I'm so lucky to be able to collaborate with Tom, Raphael, and my friend Milton, who is also contributing. They're just great artists. They're just some of the top tier artists. It's a privilege to be able to work with them.
So remember, issue 3, all 3 issues, make a puzzle, and then you take that and you make it a print.
Yes.
You have
and then like a poster. Actually, it could be a poster.
Yeah. It'd be big enough. It would be a poster.
Yeah.
And then it's also the wraparound cover for the hardcover collected. I'm just saying.
Right. No, that's a good idea. I can already see the image in my mind. Yes.
So, anyhow, very glad to have you on. Very glad to see that the campaign moved a little bit forward. Get on a bunch of other people's shows. Do you have a lot of people lined up?
Yeah, I have a list. I got a lot of people. So let's see. I'm on the Pop XP crowdfunding comics on the 19th. I am on a bunch of. I'm on 3 shows in one day on the 18th. So that's going to be a big day. I'm also on Two Geeks Talking. A lot of different stuff like that. So there's. Trying to get kind of out of my comfort zone. There's a lot of pop culture podcasts I didn't know about, so I'm just reaching out to them, maybe seeing if I could get some more people interested. Not going back to the same interviews that I always all went back to, because I want to get more people aware of the book. I will go back to anyone who will have me. I'll be on it, no problem. But I would also like to see some more new people and maybe get more people interested. Because I think Kickstarter and Indiegogo, it's like the projects, although some projects switch over and stuff like that, not everyone knows about the projects going on. And I think that I don't know. I think that I'm getting emails every day that people didn't know this book was out, and it's been launched, 3 times. So it's crazy to me to hear that. So just going to keep pushing the book, and hopefully it'll be fun. I think we will, but it's going to take some.
Every day is somebody's first day of seeing it. So
exactly. And so that's a beautiful thing. And I hope that people are captivated and decide to buy it. I'm glad that the reception is stronger. Cause I knew it would be. At first I kind of doubted. I was like, maybe people aren't interested anymore, but thankfully people are. So I'm happy.
Yep. People might have just been COVID depressed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible.
We're coming out of the year. It's time for some optimism. It's time for some
absolutely.
So if you're watching on the replay, folks, look below in the video description. The very first line you'll see is a link to Ryan Haack's Bric-a-Brack #2, A Christmas Story, where, I know it's #2. Don't worry, you can get issue #1. Just get the bundle. It's worth it. Trust me. And then it'll be arriving, early next year, sometime February-ish.
Yes, but obviously, people on Christmas, right before Christmas Eve, everyone will be getting, a copy of Bric-a-Brack #1, digital, and then they will also get everything we have of the book. The Tragedy of Jack Frost, the backstory, is completed, so that's 6 pages that you'll get to read, completed and lettered, and then whatever we have of the book will also be sent to you guys, just like last year. So. Be looking out for that. It's in, so that's about 40 to 45 pages you'll be able to read to your family. I mean, it's not the complete story, but it's next Christmas it will be. So
yeah, next Christmas he'll give you his heart, and the very next day, no, we're not even. I can't even put that together. That's the worst song in the world, by the way. That's like I hate that George Michael Christmas song.
Yeah, it's not really about Christmas at all,
No, it's all about you broke my heart, so phooey on you.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of Christmas songs nowadays, they're not even about Christmas. It's about a lover or something. Like, when are there going to be Christmas songs about liking Christmas? That's what I want to know. Actually enjoying Christmas. Not about can Santa tell me if this is the right person? No, it's about liking Christmas.
All I want for Christmas is you. Okay, well, yeah, she can sing. It's great. It's got
but
sounds in it, but
but how does Christmas make you feel? That's what we want to know.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Tomorrow night, we will be having Professor Murph on here to talk about the war party on Indiegogo.
That's going to be cool.
Later on in the week, we will have Butch Cleaver, and then next Saturday, it will be time for the LCS guys again. So we will have the roundtable meeting and talking about what's going on in comics. So with that, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.